Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The Nickel Trophy will be on the line this Saturday as number 2 North Dakota takes on number 4 North Dakota State. And guys, this is without a doubt the undisputed game of the week. An in-state rivalry, another amazing top 10 matchup. We've seen more top 10 matchups in about half of an FCS season than we have in an entire FBS season. And this is also a game that has major Missouri Valley Conference title implications. Because North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, a major surprise team in the entire country this year, if they win this game, they will have defeated Southern Illinois, South Dakota State, and North Dakota State, and will have all but wrapped up this Missouri Valley Conference, barring some crazy ending to their season. So we're in for a big one, a huge one at the FargoDome on Saturday afternoon. The 113th meeting between these two programs, but just the 7th meeting between these two since the year 2000. North Dakota State won the last meeting in 2019, 38-7, and I've got a feeling that if the Bison somehow win this one on Saturday, it's not going to be by that large of a margin. So we're going to break down everything you need to know for this game, guys. Who's going to win the battle between the Fighting Hawks and the Bison? We're going to break that down. The offense, the defense, a little bit of backstory, a little bit of how well these teams have been playing so far this season. We're here to break it down like we always do in our Game of the Week videos. So you look at North Dakota first. Again, they've been such a major surprise in the FCS this season. 4-0 this year with 2 top 10 wins on their resume, at least 2 wins over current top 10 teams in Southern Illinois and South Dakota State. The Fighting Hawks beat both of those teams by double digits. They're legit. North Dakota State, on the other hand, they're 4-1, the only loss coming to Southern Illinois. That was their first loss in 39 straight games. Last week, they just escaped Illinois State 21-13, scoring a touchdown with 3:39 left to get up by 8. They blocked a PAT early in the fourth quarter where Illinois State would have tied the game. So defense came up clutch. The offense kind of got the extra boost in there to put them ahead for good. But North Dakota State has not looked like that national title contender like we've seen for about the past decade or so. They look vulnerable. They look a little weaker. And a poor showing on Saturday against their in-state rival will certainly confirm those fears and certainly confirm those doubts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the offense first. And we'll take a look at both teams here. And let's start with the road team in the Fighting Hawks. North Dakota's offense has been unbelievable. They've scored at least 28 points in 3 of the 4 games they've played this season. Their lowest point total so far was 21. 21 points is their lowest point total. And a major reason for their offensive success is their 1-2 punch of their quarterback and their running back. Tommy Schuster at quarterback, Otis Weah at running back. And let's start with Schuster first. I've been so impressed with Tommy Schuster this year because he's just a freshman. He's just a freshman taking over for a North Dakota team that, again, has kind of been little brother to North Dakota State for years now in the state of North Dakota, and has now led them to the number 2 ranking in the entire country. Schuster has thrown for 849 yards, 7 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, and by far had the best game of his young career last week, where he completed 78.4% of his passes for 328 yards and 3 touchdowns in a win against Western Illinois. I don't care how good Western Illinois is, how bad they are, those numbers by a freshman quarterback are absolutely ridiculous. When you look on the running game, Otis Weah has been phenomenal, just a sophomore, so a lot of young talent for this North Dakota team, which is very promising and positive sign for the future. But Otis Weah, just a sophomore, 441 yards, 6 touchdowns already this year. And when you look at their offensive production, guys, when it comes to yards, it just keeps getting better and better. 347 yards in their first game, 384 yards in their second game, 489 yards in their third game, 550 yards last week against Western Illinois. The offensive production keeps increasing week by week. You do not see that from teams at any level. Rarely do you see teams continue to improve like that at such an exponential rate. The Fighting Hawks are doing it. and they're showing that they're no fluke. They are legit. When you look at North Dakota State, though, look at their offense. It's very telling. They are missing Trey Lance, who is going to be a first-round NFL draft pick in about a month. They're missing him, and that was to be expected. We expected North Dakota State to maybe struggle a little bit without Trey Lance. I mean, he's a generational talent. He's unbelievable. But what's been unexpected has been the struggles of Zeb Noland. I expected Zeb Noland to step in for Trey Lance. Remember, the transfer quarterback from Iowa State. I wasn't expecting him to put up Trey Lance-type numbers, but I was expecting him to fill that void and fill it fairly nicely. He has not done that. Noland has thrown just 440 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions this season. He was actually benched last week in their win against Illinois State. Benched for freshman Cam Miller, who came into the game and had 118 total yards and a rushing touchdown. He's a dual-threat quarterback, and there's a very good chance he's going to get the starting nod in this game against North Dakota. When you look at the Bison, too, they have not exceeded 25 points this season. So even their games against inferior opponents, they really haven't been able to lay down the hammer, haven't been able to put the gas down and put up the points like they have in years past. That's a problem. There is no clear leader, there is no clear playmaker on this North Dakota State offense right now, and that's something they've got to figure out if they want to go on to win the national championship, and that might even be pushing it. North Dakota State has to figure this stuff out now if they even want to make a decent playoff run. They will get to the playoffs, but they want to make a run. Right now, they do not look like a team that can do it despite being 4th in the country. Looking at the defense for both of these teams here, we'll start with the Fighting Hawks. They've done a fantastic job. Through 4 games, have already forced 10 turnovers. 4 games, 10 turnovers. That's promising considering North Dakota State has committed 8 turnovers. So not looking good for the Bison again, looking very good for the Fighting Hawks. These guys are ball hawks. The Fighting Hawks are ball hawks. They are very, very stingy defensively. They have not allowed over 21 points all year long. So they've allowed 21 points or less in every single game they have played this year. They have held their opponents to under 100 rushing yards in 3 of the 4 games they've played this year, allowing just an average of 85.3 rushing yards per game. So their front 7, their linebacking core, very, very strong. Very, very difficult to go up against regardless of who you are. The only small weakness I would say North Dakota has is in their secondary, is in stopping the pass. They're allowing 269.3 passing yards per game, which could bode well for whoever is under center for the Bison on Saturday. Whether that is Cam Miller, again, the freshman quarterback that stepped in for Zeb Noland last week, or maybe they choose to roll with Zeb Noland one more time. Maybe they give him another chance. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, had 2 of his interceptions last week. Maybe they give him the nod at home against North Dakota. But regardless of who's at quarterback, they're going up against a vulnerable secondary, and that's how the Bison are going to have to win this game, is through the air. Beating the Fighting Hawks through the air. When you look at the Bison, their defense is nothing special, but it's what's winning them these games. They're not flashy, they're not spectacular by any means, but it's what's winning these games because, as we just mentioned, North Dakota State has not had really any offensive production from anybody this year. They've been much weaker on that side of the ball than we've seen in years past. Outside of the bad loss, the 24-point loss to Southern Illinois, North Dakota State has held their other 3 opponents to 13 points or less each time. They have not allowed more than 2 touchdowns in all their other games except for the one against Southern Illinois. Problem is they have a very tough time taking the ball away. They've only forced 2 turnovers this year. That has to improve. The numbers the rest of the way aren't that bad though. 168.8 passing yards per game they're allowing, 104.3 rushing yards per game they're allowing. Those aren't bad numbers. Not bad numbers at all. But then again, look at the rest of the schedule for North Dakota State. The Fighting Hawks, their in-state rival, they're going to be their toughest test yet. And you may say, well, how is that possible? The Bison have already lost to Southern Illinois. We didn't know Southern Illinois was a top 10 caliber team when they upset the Bison at the time. We didn't know that. Looking at this now, and I still think North Dakota is better than Southern Illinois. They are the toughest test the Bison have faced so far this year, without a doubt. So don't let those numbers fool you. We know the Fighting Hawks have an offense capable of putting up numbers way greater than the average that the Bison are allowing. And you will see that on Saturday. Doesn't mean it's going to translate to a victory, but you will see a solid offensive performance that exploits North Dakota State's defense on Saturday afternoon. So what's going to happen in this game, guys? What's going to happen at the FargoDome Saturday afternoon? Number 2, number 4, in-state rivalry game. I mean, this is what top 10 matchups are made of. This is what a game of the week is supposed to be like right here. When you look deeper into this, it's really fun to look at. Just 76 miles separate these two campuses. Just 76 miles separate these two programs. So right off the bat, you really can't say North Dakota State owns that much of a home field advantage. It's an in-state rivalry, not that far. FargoDome can't be filled to full capacity. If it was, that'd be an even bigger boost because we know how difficult it is to play there. One of the best atmospheres, I think, in all of college football at any level. But the home field advantage really isn't fully there. The major storyline you need to watch out for is who gets the nod at quarterback, Zeb Nolan or Cam Miller. My gut right now says it's Cam Miller. He's dual threat, gives that dual threat capability, can extend the plays with his legs, and showed a lot of poise coming in late in that game against Illinois State. Why not give him the nod in one of the biggest games of the year for the Bison when Nolan simply has not been getting the job done for you? But at the end of the day, the $1 million thing that this comes down to is the fact that your defense can't always win you games. And eventually, the offense has to wake up. That's what this game comes down to for me. North Dakota State has been winning games through their defense. The offense hasn't really been doing much. The defense has bailed them out time and time again. There's going to come a time where they can't bail them out anymore. And that time is Saturday. North Dakota State's defense will not be able to bail them out on Saturday. If they get stop after stop after stop, the Bison have to find some sort of offensive production to put points on the board to help out their defense. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do that. Not against this very, very stingy, tough, physical, Fighting Hawks front seven. So when I look at this game, guys, back in the day, I would have considered this to be an upset. Today, I don't think it is. I am picking North Dakota to go on the road and take down the 4th-ranked team in the country, the North Dakota State Bison, handing them their second loss of the year. Just a few weeks ago, they saw their 39-game winning streak come to an end. Now they're going to have 2 losses in one season alone. The Fighting Hawks will improve to 5-0, and more than likely will finish the season at 8-0, as their final 3 opponents have a combined record of 2-11. The Fighting Hawks are for real. The Fighting Hawks very well could be your number 1 team in the country by next week. And the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota could be the North Dakota team that wins the national championship this year, and not their big brothers, maybe now called little brothers, at North Dakota State. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. And also make sure to check out everything down in that description below. Check out our brand new Gridiron Expert podcast. The links for all those things are in the description. All the platforms are in the description. I promise you do not want to miss it. Weekly episodes, in-depth episodes coming out every single week in addition to daily videos here. Do not miss out on that. Everything down in the description is for you. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.